When Greek mythology was adapted by the Romans, they renamed a majority of the idols which the Greeks worshipped. For several of these idols, they were connected to heavenly bodies. The idol Selene or Luna was connected to the planet Selene or Luna, better known today as the moon. The idol Apollo was connected to the planet Mercury or Apollo, better known out today as Mercury. The idol Venus or Aphrodite was connected to the planet Venus or Aphrodite, better known today as Venus. The idol Sol or Helios was connected to the planet Sol or Helios, better known today as the Sun. The idol Mars or Ares was connected to the planet Mars or Ares, better known today as Mars. The idol Jupiter or Zeus was connected to the planet Jupiter or Zeus, better known today as Jupiter. The idol Saturn or Cronus was connected to the planet Cronus or Saturn, better known today as Saturn. In antiquity, the pagans would sacrifice to Venus as well as Daud, her mother, and Cupid, her son. Based upon the Greco-Roman idol, it was named after the planet Venus, was considered the source of sensual love felt by mankind. This planet took on the moniker the morning star from its association with the sunrise. This association derived from a belief that it and the sun seemed to court. It was suddenly in the Venetian atmosphere that the great Florentine poet found himself along with his muse. Dante only knew that they were there because of how intense Beatrice's beauty had become. Not only was her magnificent radiance seen by Dante, but so were innumerable lights, either moving slowly or swiftly. This motion seemed to be connected with their attention upon the Trinity. The swiftness of the speeding lights dwarfed even the rapid mountainous winds. As some of them approached him and Beatrice, Dante heard them grandly singing Hosanna. From among them was a soul that said, "We are ready unto thy pleasure, that thou joy is in us. We turn around with the celestial princes, one gyre and one gyration, and one thirst, to whom thou in the world of old didst say, Ye who intelligent the third heaven are moving, and are so full love to pleasure thee a little quiet will not be less sweet." Canto 8, 32 through 39. Upon looking to Beatrice for permission, Dante asked the soul to identify himself. His request was not only accepted, but caused his brilliant countenance to burn more intensely. The soul stated that his life on earth was brief. If he had been given longevity, he would have had the potential to prevent many evil actions. He added that if he had been permitted to live long enough, that Dante would have even been given the soul's affection. As for his identity, the soul Charles Martel of Anjou stated that he had been given the Hungarian crown by Pope Nicholas IV, and it was the Neapolitan crown prince until his death in 1295 from a plague. If it had not been for the Sicilian Vespers, he would have been king of Sicily when his father Charles II of Naples died in 1309. He continued by saying that if his brother Robert could perceive the danger that the Catalonian lords posed to Sicily, he would remove them when he became king of Naples in 1309. If something was not done about Catalonian controlled Sicily, there would be more damage done. However, there was another issue with Robert: his greed. He would utilize his greed to control his kingdom and connect with Pope Clement V, who elevated him as the imperial vicar. As Charles Martel finished his speech, Dante acknowledged Charles's divinely given wisdom. This speech, though, had caused Dante to question, how from sweet seed can bitter issue forth? Canto 8, verse 93. Charles explained that the Father, through his goodness, controls the heavenly realm that the great Florentine poet was climbing. He could foresee every scenario and always accomplish his will. The universe reflected the peace and order of the Father in his angelic army. Without the order and perfection that the Father possessed, the universe would be in absolute chaos. A chaotic universe would mean that the spiritual realm of the Father and his angelic army was also chaotic. After Dante understood this implication, Charles asked him a philosophical question that derived from Aristotle's work entitled Politics. Once he again, now say, would it be worse for men on earth were they not citizens? Canto 8, 115 through 116. Yet again, he asked Dante if he needed to explain further, to which the great Florentine poet told Charles that he did not need further proof. Charles, though, believed that there was still a need for further discussion, this time of the diversity of man's intentions and natures. There were generally four classes of necessary labors, according to Charles: Solons, Xerxes, Meldecs, and Daedalus. The Solon class, referring to the states and legislators, got its name from the 6th century Athenian statesman and sage of Greece, Solon. The Xerxes class, referring to military personnel and leaders, got its name from either the Sassanian general or the Persian emperor or emperors. The Melchizedek class, referring to devout clergy and not the largely false clergy of the day, got its name from the pre-incarnate manifestation of Christ in Genesis 14, 18 through 20. The Daedalus class, referring to artisans and laborers, got its name from the mythological Cretan artisan who constructed the wooden cow of Palsaphy and the Labyrinthian and fathered Icarus. Nature, like its maker, is no partaker of people. Two people can come from the same womb and be polar opposites. In their conversation, In Genesis 33, Esau indicated that he had every materialistic thing he wanted, whereas Jacob indicated that he had every spiritual thing he needed. Romulus was such a powerful warrior that the Latins believed he was a demigod, being the child of Rhea Silvia and the idol Mars. People's natures or personalities can therefore be very diverse from each other and even from their parents. However, if a person fails to conform to the Father's will and purpose, their adopted nature will result in failure. Which makes sense, because to not conform to the Father's will and purpose is foolish of man. For example, if the Father had willed a person to become a soldier, but was forced by other men to become a priest, or the Father had willed a person to become a priest, but was forced by other men to become a king, it would end in disaster, as that's not the path that the Father had for them.